Hello world, this is a Black Mage guide up to level 60. This is Shadowbringers 5.3. Details on the following glamour set can be found in the description box below. Glamour for the Black Mage series, we have the Suzaku Flame-Kissed Rod, the Archaeodemon Horns, the Augmented Hailstorm Coat of Casting, Lucian Prince Fingerless Gloves, the Guardian Corpse Skirt, and the Augmented Hailstorm Boots of Casting. Welcome to a Shadowbringers Black Mage Skill Spotlight. Let's start this off at level 52. We get Ley Lines, connects naturally occurring ley lines to create a circle of power which, while standing within it, reduces spellcast time, recast time, and auto attack delay by 15%, duration of 30 seconds. It is instant cast with a 90-second off global. So before we move on, a few tips and tricks with Ley Lines. The first one is the obvious. It speeds up your casting, effectively just increasing your DPS. Think of it that way. The second one is if you have another Black Mage in the group, their Ley Lines does not affect your DPS as a Black Mage. So two Black Mages, the Ley Lines does not stack. So theirs does not affect you and your Ley Line does not affect them. Number 3, place the Ley Lines in a safe location. So if you do not know where to place them, make sure that the rest of the party is relatively close, so at least you can use ethereal manipulation just in case you need to move out of the way. In other words, just go ahead and be mindful of where you place your Ley Lines. If you don't know the boss fight or the specific enemies, just place it relatively close to your party. Number 4, avoid use if enemies die quickly. This guy lasts 30 seconds, so Ley Lines last for quite a bit of time. Just make sure that if you're going to use it, make sure that enemies are beefy enough for the Ley Line timer to be relevant. If you kill the enemies in less than 15 seconds, it's not worth putting Ley Lines. And finally, be prepared to move. Ley Lines actually has kind of like a magnet to telegraphs. It just based on experience. Once you get enough fights going, you're going to notice that as soon as you put that Ley Lines down, as soon as you put it down, all the telegraphs go right on top of your character. They're not coming after you, they're just coming after the Ley Lines. That's how the game is programmed. Level 54, we get Sharpcast. I'm going to remove that first part. So ensures the next not Scathe, Fire, or Thunder spell cast will for the first time trigger the additional effect, which is Firestarter or Thundercloud respectively. Don't use Scathe. Duration of 15 seconds. It is instant cast with a 60-second off global. Sharpcast, I'm going to talk more in depth in the rotation segment, but for now, all you need to know is the AoE. You're going to be using Sharpcast on the Thundercloud. That is cast your Thunder 2. Along with Sharpcast, you're going to cast another Thunder 2 immediately. Make sure you do not hold any Thundercloud procs. And the same goes for the Firestarter. Now, the Firestarter is more whether or not the Thundercloud is active and or the timer on the dots is still pretty healthy. If both of those apply, you're going to use it on the Firestarter instead. Now, if the timer is pretty low, go ahead and reapply the dot instead. At level 56, we get Enochian, Enochian, however you want to pronounce it. Increases magic damage dealt by 5%. Also allows the casting of Blizzard 4 and a Fire 4. Can only be executed while under the effect of Astral Fire or Umbral Ice. Effect is cancelled if Astral Fire or Umbral Ice ends. It is instant cast with a 30-second off global. At level 58, we get Blizzard 4. Deals ice damage with a potency of 300. Just like your Blizzard spells up until now, that 300 potency does not go up or down. Additional effect grants 3 Umbral Hearts. They should be right there. Umbral Heart bonuses nullifies the Astral Fire's MP cost increase for fire spells. So a good example is during Astral Fire, you're casting Fire 1, it's going to go up to 1600. During Umbral Heart, it will stay 800. Blizzard 4, just like your Fire 3, is a buff spell. It is required for both AoE and single targets. If you do not have Blizzard 4 during your rotation, you're not playing Black Mage properly. And finally, we've arrived at Fire 4. Deals fire damage with a potency of 300. Can only be executed while under the effects of both Enochian and Astral Fire. You do not do 300 potency with this because it requires the Astral Fire. At 1 stack, this does 420 potency. At 2 stacks, this does 480. And at 3 stacks, which is where you should be recommended, this will do 540 potency. potency. So Fire 4 is basically your go-to for a single target or a boss encounter in forms of DPS. This is going to be your single most hardest hitting spell once you've got everything situated and your opener is set up. Probably the easiest way to mess up during the Fire 4 spam is forgetting the fact that Fire 4, similar to Blizzard 4, does not reset the Astral Fire, or in Blizzard 4's case, the Umbral Ice timer itself. So make sure you toss a Fire 1 or a Firestarter proc of Fire 3 to reset the timer, most likely if you lost your Enochian due to forgetting to reset the timer. Hello and welcome. This is going to be a single target rotation. I'm going to pause or slow the video as needed to further explain in detail. So the first segment is going to be straightforward. It's basically flatline default opener as you see fit. As soon as we hit the Fire 1 section of the opener, it shifts to the Firestarter yes or Firestarter no. If it is a no on the Firestarter, just continue on with the rotation segment. If it is a yes on the Firestarter, continue on with the rotation, and I will then explain the yes for the Firestarter afterwards. We're going to start off with the Sharpcast. The Sharpcast is best used in the opener to minimize the animation delay. So we're going to toss our Sharpcast. Of course, you can use it in your own playstyle, typically before the Thunder spell. That's what we're focusing on the Sharpcast. After that, we're going to do the Blizzard 3 and immediate Enochian, increasing our damage output by 5% and also enabling us to use Fire 4 and Blizzard 4, which is what we will be using next. So Blizzard 4, this will enable us 3 Umbral Hearts. The Umbral Hearts cancel mana cost increase of fire spells during Astral Fire. We're going to toss the Thunder 3. This will enable our Sharpcast proc into the Thundercloud. We're going to toss the second Thunder 3. If you have 2 targets, guess where that Thunder 3 is going to. After that, we're going to use a Fire 3 Hardcasted. Our Swiftcast is used for something more important and is more situational during level 60. As soon as the Fire 3 goes off, we're going to immediately use Ley Lines. Immediately. If you need to reposition yourself, go ahead and do so now before Ley Lines goes down. After Ley Lines goes down, we're going to start casting Fire 4. 3 of them. We're going to hard cast Fire 4. Swiftcast goes off of Fire 4 if you need to reposition yourself. This is a very good spell to use it on. After your third Fire 4, we're going to use the Fire 1. Swiftcast also goes on the Fire 1. Pretty much any fire spell during the rotation opener is a good time for Swiftcast. It is not really for DPS. It is used to reposition your character during downtime of GCD. At this point, it basically comes down to whether you have Firestarter proc, yes or no. For this segment, we're going to go with a no. So no Firestarter proc. That means we're going to cast 3 more Fire 4s. We're going to use a mana font. If you do not have mana font, you're going to basically reset right now with a Blizzard 3. If you do have mana font, we're going to cast a Fire 1, cast a Fire 4. This is the Firestarter yes, so if you've just casted your first Fire 1 after your 3 Fire 4s, you're going to instead do 3 Fire 4s, mana font, 2 more Fire 4s into the immediate Fire 3 off your Firestarter proc. If you have a potion that recovers enough for one last Fire 4, typically a Super Ether, this is 5.3, you should be able to craft or buy Super Ethers off the market board. Link to the Super Ether in the description box below. They don't need to be high quality, just enough to cast one last Fire 4, and after that go ahead and do your reset, which is your Blizzard 3, Thunder 3, Fire 3. Well, let's move on to the AoE rotation. Hello everyone, so judging from the single target rotation, you guys should know how to use the spells in proper order. So we're going to start off with the Sharpcast into the Freeze, immediate Enochian into the Blizzard 4. We're going to do the Thunder 2 into immediate Thunder 2 again, or the Fire 3, whichever one you want to use, as long as you use all 3 of them. We're going to do the Fire 3 into the immediate Ley Lines. Now you want to wait just enough for the GCD timer to come back up again. Basically, as soon as you're able to cast spells, press the ley lines, put them down. We're going to spam Fire 2 4 times. We're going to do Fire 2 3 times to burn the Umbral Hearts, and then the fourth will be full MP cost of 3000. After using Fire 2 4 times, we're going to Swift Cast into our first flare. We're going to Mana Font our second flare, and then we're going to toss a potion at least 800 MP into our third flare. Immediate transpose, freeze to reset. Hello, testing. Hello, world. This is going to be the AoE, or I should say the dungeon example. Towards the single target or the boss encounter, the video got a little chopped, so I had to cut a few clips here and there, but it showed a pretty good example of the boss encounter. The AoE is kind of clunky, mostly because the Fire 2 is stretched out a little bit on the convoluted side. 2 Fire 2s was perfectly fine. Now we have to cast 4 of them. Fire 2s don't do a whole lot of damage, especially when you have less than 4 targets. You should just be casting Fire 4 instead. And of course, if you still have 3 targets, you should be casting Flare instead of the last Fire 4. And that's pretty much it for AoE. It's pretty straightforward. It just gets a little convoluted. Go ahead and start off with the boss encounter. So I like how Black Mage has evolved from level 50 to 60. It completely just turns on a dime, just completely goes 180 at level 60. So that's a nice breath of fresh air. Let's go ahead and turn around for the eye mechanic. So right here I tried to teleport, and I should have clicked the ninja, but I hit the Dark Knight instead, but it basically knocked me right back to the circle. And that's something that you always want to get back to the circle immediately. It would have been a good idea to toss a Swift Cast there into a fire spell while I repositioned to the circle, but the boss did that repositioning for me. So I had to cut the clip section here because it got choppy. The second target was the tether onto the healer, so I used the Thunder 3 from the Thundercloud on that. Let's go ahead and continue. So double jump. Again, here I keep making mistakes, but again, the boss knocks me away right back to the circle. I lose my Enochian, and I'll get it right back. That's the reason why you never want to lose the second Enochian, the one you get back roughly halfway through your opener. And that's pretty much it. I hope you guys enjoyed, and we'll see you guys next time. Hello world, and thanks for watching. Don't forget to smash the like and subscribe here. You can also donate if interested in supporting the channel. More content to watch on the right side. If interested in joining in the Tempest Talons, info in the top left. And as always, good luck to you, and we'll see you next time.